What's up, everybody? Public Slave here, back for another exciting episode of my comic blog. And I didn't pick up a whole lot this week, today actually. I didn't get that many. The comic book store, DC is still flying off the shelf, and that's definitely the reason why I'm going. Just because I'm a bigger fan of DC. But Captain America Steve Rogers #2 came out today, and I was really excited to pick that one up because I'm loving the Thunderbolt series, and the Captain America series seems like it's going to tie in. And I'm really excited to see how that's going to work, because they're both like dealing with this cosmic cube that's like a sentient being that can like warp the world around it, Kobik from Thunderbolts. And this issue this week, I'll just get straight to it. It was pretty much like a flashback the whole way through. It's Red Skull telling how he managed to manipulate Kobik into turning Captain America into a member of Hydra. And it's basically like he found out that Kobik, he was befriending her because when she came back and like destroyed all these people after Captain America had broken her with his shield, she came back, she killed out like a bunch of these people in shield or whatever, and she showed up one night, and Red Skull couldn't figure out who she was at first, and then she said that he had held her and, you know, protect her or something like that. And so he started like basically taking care of her like she was a child. Red Skull's daughter, you know, has the messed up face like he does, and Kobik gave her like a real face with pretty hair, and that was kind of cool. And pretty much what she did with Captain America, but it's Red Skull basically saying like Pleasant Hill was his idea. That prison that put criminals in there. He helped orchestrate the riot, you know, for the people that broke out of it. It's really making me wonder now, like, how much Kobik is into the Thunderbolts. Because, like, now you find out she believes that Hydra is what's going to make the world a better place and basically save everybody from destroying themselves. And so whenever she like messes with somebody, like grabs their hand, she makes them think, you know, like Red Skull is kind of like a messiah. Like she does it to this one scientist who was working on her, and he was like, my whole life's work has been for you and Hydra, Hell Hydra. And he was like, holy crap. And so he organized this entire thing so that Captain America would get into a fight with, who was it, Zemo? Yeah, he got into a fight with Zemo. And right when Crossbones. Got into a fight with Crossbones, and right as he was getting ready to die, Kobik made him young again, you know, to save Captain America. Because Kobik doesn't want people to die, she just wants the world to be better. And because she has like a mind of a child, like really small-minded, you know, and I don't mean that in a mean way. She's an all-powerful being, for God's sake. But basically, when she made him young again, she also made him a follower of Hydra. But it's like she's also kind of aware, I guess, if you think about it, she'd be aware that you can't be open as Hydra. You can't be like, I'm Hydra, because like people are going to come and fuck you up. Like, obviously Captain America's always been fighting Hydra. So it was pretty cool, and it didn't leave like a big cliffhanger. It just sort of left like, it's real weird. Check this out. So this is like after the whole incident with Pleasant Hill. There's Winter Soldier right before he becomes the Man on the Wall. He takes Nick Fury's place, and he has Mach X. You know, in another video. We'll get it probably next week or 2 weeks from now. And talking, of course, to Sam Wilson, right? New Captain America. And that's actually Red Skull saying, you know, he'll have Captain America saying Hail Hydra. Then just puts his new shield down here, which I did see the way the shield works. It's sort of like this bottom part separates from this first part, so he has like 2 shields on each arm and he can use them as weapons. Kind of cool. I'd like to see it a little more in action. But it's basically there, just that shield. And then this opens up. So it basically just set up the entire world of Captain America. It didn't like introduce anything other than like Red Skull's plan and why Captain America is saying Hail Hydra. So what's going to be interesting the most to me, I feel, is seeing how Captain America is going to like lose that. Like, is that going to cross with Thunderbolts? Because Kobik's there. So if she's going to change his mind, he's going to have to find Winter Soldier. And I'm pretty sure that whole team is off the grid right now. So that's definitely going to be interesting. I'd love to see a crossover with Thunderbolts. I'm digging the Captain America. I feel like I could have hopped on Iron Man, but then I'm like, nah. Here's something. This has nothing really to do with comic books per se. But here's an idea. How... I've read one Iron Man comic, but I've read a ton of Batman comics, a ton of Superman comics. So would it be fair for me to say that the reason why you like Iron Man and Avengers, if you do, of course, the reason why you like those more than like Man of Steel and some of the Batman movies and the idea of Ben Affleck being Batman, which I enjoyed him as Batman, but I just watched the director's cut of Batman vs. Superman, and I thought to myself, maybe the reason why people don't like it as much as, say, Avengers is because, like, how many people you know have read Iron Man? Like, Iron Man hasn't always been a good comic to read, in my opinion. I mean, I've read a few. I read the Civil War, and I had like one comic of him growing up where he's in the suit, but he's in this like water, and he's like trying to swim up, and there's like a evil guy, James Bonding, at the top of this well or something that Iron Man's stuck in. It's real weird. I'm not sure quite. I read it years ago, so. But you haven't read many Iron Man comics. You haven't really read, maybe, possibly, read a lot of Thor comics. I, for one, haven't read hardly any Thor comic ever. The most I read of Thor was probably in The Defenders. I had an issue of Defenders years ago. And Thor, I believe, was in that, too. And so there's 2. Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk I know is Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby on the old TV show. Because I watched it with my dad when I was growing up. Obviously, I wasn't around when it was on, but I've watched it since. I used to skip school to watch the sci-fi mini-marathons whenever Incredible Hulk was on. So there's 3. And I don't know many people that's actually read Captain America comics, to be fair. But people know these characters from, like, Marvel Ultimate Alliance and I'm sure some other games along the way. Cartoons have always done a good job with them. So that's really what you have to base that off of. But Batman, you got like the Tim Burton movies, for those that liked it, the first 2. I wouldn't, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, I wouldn't go too crazy on thinking those have any influence on anybody. I know when I think about Batman, I think of like you have Batman and you have Bruce Wayne, and if you can't be a good Batman, you might be a good Bruce Wayne. That's George Clooney. George Clooney was an amazing Bruce Wayne, not the greatest Batman. And so, like, I don't think you should base your idea of a Batman movie off those. But the Tim Burton movies, the Christian Bale Batman, you got to give it up. those are great movies. They're dark, but they're really good. Very character driven. I think that is what really made it work. But then you have like Batman versus Superman, which is like blatantly telling multiple stories. The Batman is based off Dark Knight, which is an amazing comic, and I have some Dark Knight comic updates in just a few minutes. I just wanted to put this out there. Basically what I'm saying, you've read Batman and Superman comics, and if this movie doesn't live up to those comics, you just really, it's not going to be the movie you want it to be. And in my opinion, I fucking love that movie. The director's cut was even better. It threw in just enough stuff to like take away some of the confusion. The woman who from Africa said Superman murdered her family over in Africa or whatever. They show the Russian guy throwing her into a train. They show Steppenwolf talking with Lex Luthor right before Lex Luthor gets arrested and thrown in prison. It threw in just enough to take away some confusion that I feel like what I thought was a good movie now is a better movie for other people. Because I loved it. Now I love it even more. It's kind of like the Blade Runner. Different Blade Runners. There's one that I like over the other 6 or 7 or however many different copies there are. But basically, that's all I was saying. Could it be that you like Avengers or Marvel in general? You like Marvel more than DC because Marvel, you've seen good versions of do different things, and DC has had kind of a rocky history, but you know the source material. Marvel could change shit and you wouldn't even really know that much. Like, if Black Widow had a completely different name, then, like, if it was Natasha Smith, I'd probably buy it, because I don't know Black Widow from the comics, honestly. So anyway, that aside, just leave your comments for that below, because I'd love to talk about that. Next, I got on the DC train. Just a good week for DC. Got this I missed a couple weeks ago, Scooby Apocalypse #2, and it's getting better. It's getting better. It got a lot more hardcore, in a couple of weeks. There's the opening page, pretty much. Apocalypse right now. Actually, that's the opening page. You got to start somehow. But this one definitely got better. There's some monsters in it. Scooby does some fighting. I believe he also pooped. They don't show anything. He doesn't look that embarrassed, but Shaggy says, Scooby, that's like gross. But given the circumstances, totally understandable. Everybody run, because Scooby was fighting a monster. And you see it right there. So I'm guessing Scooby pooped. But yeah, there's a lot of science talk in it. A lot of talking about like the mystery. Like, I feel like they're kind of trying to Velma's only role so far is to lead this group into a mystery. Like, Fred's the camera guy, but he's also buff. He's got a few ideas, but he's Daphne's cameraman. Daphne is like this headstrong, like kind of egotistical reporter, rich. Her family is what'd they say that was? The Blake Bubble Bath Empire or something like that. And then Shaggy worked with Velma in the science complex, but he was handling the smart dogs, where, as I said last time, Scooby has the mind of a 3-year-old human in his grown dog body, but he's got this like little emote sensor, which I'm not sure I care for it, because I don't ever pay attention to what he's like, what little bubbles are coming out. I always have to tell myself to go back and look at those and to like really notice what's in them. But actually, this one put a different spin on the team than what you'd ever expect to be an issue. Like, That probably made no sense. Here's what I'm saying. They get guns because they need to fight their way out of here. You know, Scooby's not going to do it. He's just as scared as everybody else. So they get guns from this complex. And they're actually smacking this one with it, with the guns. Like, they're not shooting it, they're smacking it. And Daphne blows its head off. But then slowly spins into this, like, crazy story. Look, Daphne punching Velma. I'm sure if you type in Daphne and Velma on Google or any search engine, you're going to get, without safe search on, not going to get that. Never seen Daphne hit Velma. Not like that. Like, she knocked her out. And, but it puts this, like, sort of moral dilemma amongst the team where, like, Daphne's like, oh my god, like, I killed somebody. If we could fix that, you can't fix the giant hole in her head. And I thought that was interesting, but I mean, that's deep and it's dark. But that's definitely the Scooby comic we're getting. Also, it's not done up. It's not perfect. It's not even the beginning. It is the beginning. It's the Mystery Machine. It's some sort of like high-tech science project of this one scientist that worked at this complex, whatever it is Velma works at. And as soon as they get there, they are ambushed. They got this pretty cool part. Fred's not saying nothing, right? Fred's not saying nothing. You got Scooby saying ruh-roh, Daphne saying jeepers, Velma saying jinkies, and Shaggy saying zoinks. So right there in like one shot, they managed to squeeze in all of the little like catchphrases that they're known for in the show. And that was pretty cool. I'm super excited for the series. Like, I'm going to hop on the Hanna-Barbera boat. I got Flintstone. I just updated my thing. I should have gone over it before I turned it in. But I updated my pull list. All sorts of stuff are going to be coming in. Flintstones. I got to get the Wacky Land Racer still. Future Quest. Oh my god, I want to get Future. I'm going to get Future Quest 2 before I get Future Quest 1. It's ridiculous. How many people are looking for Herculoids and Space Ghosts? It's unbelievable. I'm not even sure Hall of Justice ordered the Wacky Land Racers. I'm not sure I blame him, really. He's kind of small. He's just building the company up. Probably not the best place you want to start with Hanna-Barbera. I know the Scooby comic he said he underestimated. This is his words, not mine. He only got a couple issues. He got like 2 or 3 issues, and he put it up on the racks with the kids stuff on the kids racks. And I got the last issue. Like, they came in, just ate that up. It's like the DC Heroes. That is a DC comic, but not the DC Heroes. All right. I don't know what other ones came out this week. I didn't do much research before I went. I do know I feel like there was something else I was wanting. I could be wrong. I think I actually got the 2 comics I had. I have of course, there's an app for it. I can go through like all the comics releasing from DC, Marvel, Image, the offshoots, the King, Dynamite, whatever. And the only ones I had were Captain America, Green Lanterns 1, Chunky Ray Show, and Dark Knight 3, issue 5. So, let's talk about Green Lanterns 1. This isn't the Rebirth, this is Rebirth Green Lanterns, not Green Lanterns Rebirth, Rebirth Green Lanterns. Very confusing. I don't know if I like it, but from now on, this is going to be Green Lanterns. The other one's going to be Green Lanterns Rebirth. Gotta be honest, I didn't really know what to expect with this. In the Rebirth, it sort of seemed like they were putting together sort of like a buddy cop situation. And at the very beginning, you have Jessica Cruz saying, we're officers of the Green Lantern Corps, which sounded weird. And maybe that's just something that didn't sit right with me. But it just sounded a little weird saying officers of the Green Lantern Corps. Because it always seems like, from what I know of Green Lantern, that like, which is from Justice League mostly, because I got like six issues in. Remember, my new 52 collection, I got 6 issues in. And he wasn't even a Green Lantern then. He had gotten expelled from the Green Lanterns. Sinestro brought him back in, which is always... I got to get back in on that series. It just blows my mind. Sinestro was a Yellow Lantern and got his green ring granted back to him, and then he gave Hal Jordan a temporary one. I do have the issue where Hal Jordan gets his full one back. That's besides the point. Getting off topic. This was pretty good. Still had a lot of the comedy. Still kind of setting up the character chemistry. Because like you have Simon Baz, who's like seriously headstrong, and Jessica Cruz was a xenophobe, I think is the word. She didn't come out of her house for like 3 years. She just stayed in there because she had gotten attacked somehow. I haven't gotten to how she was attacked, but I am to the part in my Justice League New 52 comics. I'm to the part where the Emerald Ring, I think that's what it is, the Emerald Ring from the Earth 2 villains got her. I haven't gotten to the part where she goes from an Emerald Core, her Emerald Ring, to Green Lantern. I haven't gotten there yet. She's destroying the world unwillingly. But this had like, it had some action. It was a pretty good shot, them breaking down the door together. And it talks about like he carries that gun just in case the ring at some point doesn't work. So I'm anxious to see how he uses the gun with his green will, because he just found out in this issue that he has Green Lantern sight, I believe they called it, where he, from what I can tell, he kind of sees the future. I'm trying to get to the page and it's not going so well. Here we go. The ring tells him that he has Green Lantern sight. And it shows him seeing like his brother-in-law with the red ring on. It looks like the oh my god, the Guardians from Oa looks like a box with a white ring. I could be wrong about that, but then it shows Jessica Cruz screaming help and Simon Baz laying dead, bleeding out over here. So it's kind of like he sees the future, which is it's just sort of convenient. It's kind of like that's where Civil War II is having their issues. You know what I mean? Like Ulysses is an inhuman who sees the future, and now there's people who like don't think that that's a weapon, and there's other people that are like wanting to use that to protect people. But you know, that's the whole point of Civil War II. So that's sort of what you get right at the end of this one. I would say this one, if you're a Green Lantern fan, I would check it out. I feel like at some point you're going to get more Green Lanterns in it. Guy Gardner, I don't know if he's a Green Lantern again or if he's still a Red Lantern, but I'm sure you get him in here. Maybe see John Stewart a couple times. Hal Jordan already popped up in Rebirth. I imagine at some point he'd pop up again. It'd be kind of cool if he came back after they like, you know, saved the planet a couple times, come back, be like, all right, you guys can just, you know, work as a team separately now. I think that'd be kind of cool. You could probably pump out a couple issues at a time at that point, because now you have her and him working independently, so you just, you know, one issue is Jessica Cruz saving the world, Simon Baz, and then they got to meet up, and then a couple more issues. Seems kind of smart to me. I liked it. There's also Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns Corps, and I'd like to read that one as well. I'll probably grab an issue up if it's there. I don't think I put that one on my pull list because this Hal Jordan has, you know, white hair, so he's definitely aged, which I'm wondering how that's going to work. Maybe I'm just so far behind in my Justice League New 52. Maybe he's, you know, got the little white streaks in his hair in the New 52. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. If he does at the end of that one, I'll probably pick it up more likely. I'll probably pick it up anyway. But I'm probably more likely to pick it up if that's the case, just because I feel like in this one, he's looking kind of a lot older. And these two don't seem to acknowledge it. But these two are specifically from the New 52. These are brand new Green Lanterns from the New 52. So it just... everything's off kilter, and it's all Flashpoint's fault. Flashpoint, New 52 is innocent of everything. I personally enjoyed the run that New 52 had. I want to go back and get some Blue Beetle. I could probably get the entire Blue Beetle. He only had like 16, 18 issues, something like that. If that. I don't think I want Vibe. I'm sure there's some other ones there that I'd love to pick up and check out. Alright, now I said I had some Dark Knight news. I'm going to go with last week's Dark Knight, which is just this $6.99 copy of Dark Knight Returns: The Last Crusade, which, if it wasn't for me listening to comic book podcasts and reading, I wouldn't have known what this was. Now, I said before with Dark Knight 3, I've never read the Dark Knight comics. I didn't know what to expect other than the artwork. I understand the artwork, and I sort of understand some of what's going on. I've gotten, by reading articles about comics and stuff coming out, I've learned some stuff about the Dark Knight. But what I found out in this takes place before Dark Knight Returns. This isn't Dark Knight Returns. This isn't Dark Knight 2, essentially. This is like Dark Knight 1.5, technically. Or, no, that still works. Dark Knight Returns 0.5 or something. I don't know. But it's basically just talking about... oh boy. Which Robin is he? Jason Todd? Yes, Jason Todd. This is basically explaining Jason Todd before the Joker killed him. It leads up directly to the moment that Joker, by this, Joker has him killed. There's like two guys that pop up behind him and beat him with crowbars. So I'm not quite sure how that works. Maybe the Dark Knight and the Killing Joke are two different sort of stories, or maybe, yeah, I bet that's it, actually. I don't do a whole lot of research, and I don't do a whole lot of planning beforehand, so this is what you get. But anyway, it leads right up to the moment, and it explains, like, it doesn't really even explain that much. It explains that, like, the Joker is doing something dirty in prison, like he's working on breaking out of prison. He's causing all sorts of crazy shit in the prison, and it shows some pretty cool fights between Batman and, let's see if I can find a good Robin one real quick. That's still Batman. That's still Batman. That's Robin looking at Batman after getting his ass beat. Here we go. Some Robin fighting. And the art looks really cool. This sort of looks aged, but then it's also like dirty, modern, gritty. And I'll show you where it leaves off. That's him getting beat down by the crowbars. It is good. I liked it, and it was $6.99, which is a little high, but you gotta understand, like, this is actually pretty thick. So you get, like, it's almost like a trade, like one of the paperbacks. So it's worth the money, and it gives you a little more if you're into the Dark Knight series. That goes with the collection, so you might as well. And actually thinking about it just now, I wish this light would turn on. This is representative of what happens in my brain. Just nothing, not a whole lot. I was reading when the rest of the Dark Knight 3 issues would come out, and I think there's 8. I think they said there was 8 total, and I'm on 5, so there's 3 more months. And it said that once they started this, they decided that there was going to be a 4th installment. This was supposed to be the last. Frank Miller didn't want to do it, but he's writing with Azzarello, forget his first name. But anyways, writing it with him, and he was like, now that we've started writing, there's going to be a 4th one. I hope this isn't it. This doesn't count. This isn't an installment. This is more of like a, I don't even know it. Like it didn't add anything. It just gave another story. So that better not be it, because this one's awesome. This one's kicking off, man. I will say that I feel like with this one the momentum slowed down. There's still plenty of cool stuff going on. You still have the Kryptonians. Actually, the Kryptonians are all just floating above Gotham because he told them, to bring Batman in, or the Kryptonians were gonna wipe everybody out. And I haven't figured it out, but for some reason, Flash. I thought Flash tripped, so I'm gonna have to go back in my comics. But he's got like 2 awfully broken legs, and they're blaming the Kryptonians, which Green Lantern got his arm cut off, if you remember, in the insert. But I thought Flash just tripped and got beat the fuck up, like he broke his own legs basically. So I have to go back and check that out, honestly. And I'm not sure I like the Flash's costume, black like Speedo short things. That's kind of weird. I get like it's a different kind of universe, but that's still pretty weird. I mean, that's Batgirl and Aquaman. Aquaman's about what you can expect out of Aquaman, and Batgirl, she's in an Aquaman suit, so she's able to breathe. And I didn't know this. I totally fucked this up, and this is me saying I was wrong. When I read that Batgirl comic, the insert for I think issue 4, I thought it was a different girl, but apparently the Batgirl is also the girl Robin, who at the very beginning of the series was dressed up like Batman until the police beat the hell out of her. She looked different. I did not like the art style for Batgirl, and I still don't. She looks cooler in this crustacean armor. And by the way, Aquaman reads her mind here. Like he's telepathic. I buy it. I get it. Like, give him another cool superpower. I'm all down for it. So, got a lot of talking. Lana, right? Lana. I just keep calling her Superman, Wonder Woman's daughter. However, she's starting to realize that the Kryptonian leader, Quar, is actually pretty evil, which I thought was pretty apparent, which says a lot about Wonder Woman's genes, because Clark Kent got his shit locked down. So anyway, Aquaman and Batgirl find Superman underwater after that whole catastrophe in the last issue, and Batgirl has this little needle thing that she sticks in this like stone frozen Superman, and it wakes him up essentially. It's just kaboom, and he's like, we're getting this shit handled. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing, of course. But then it goes back to Gotham, where Batman's driving his big fucking like Batmobile tank around in his big Batman armor, which he has to wear because he's like 80-something years old. That's probably way older than he actually is, but he's brittle. He's got like brittle bones. Like, people are actually buying that he's dead now. And well, Bruce Wayne is dead. Here it is, Lara. It's Lara. And this is the insert for this one. I'll go ahead and tell you about this one. She's kind of crazy. Like, seriously. I don't even like the art for her, honestly. It's like she's too butch while trying to still be feminine. And she has blue hair and big lips. Kind of weird. Probably an Angelina Jolie role. But, here she's hanging out with Ball, which is one of the Kryptonians. And he's bullying, like, Earthlings. Like, he throws a car and she's, like, flying sideways. She's flying like this. Like that direction. I don't get it. I don't like that. If I had to watch somebody on a movie or a TV show fly like that, I'd just be like, no. Like, her knees are like buckled up underneath her. Here she's like almost flying backwards. It's just super weird. You know? Like, it's not pivotal to the story that it be anything different. It's just weird to look at. But then, like, he says something mean and evil, and she's like, I ain't gonna stand for that. And he's like, I'm just kidding. And then, like, she kisses him or something. Yeah, she kisses him, and then she starts beating the shit out of him. Kinda kinky. I don't understand what's going on. Like, she kicks him in the face. He's falling. She catches him and kisses him. As they crash into the ground, she punches him in the face again and kisses him again. You know, some people are into it. And here's something I don't get. He kisses her, but then leaves this mark on her face, and she looks pissed. And then she, like, flies away, but she has, like, she hit him. It's like, it's almost as though they skipped a page of him beating the shit out of her because, like, feminists or something would be angry. Which I hope that's not the case. I hope you're not afraid to, like, illustrate what's going on. So anyway, you have after that was the whole insert. I promise that was the whole insert. It didn't tell me anything new to the story other than Super Wonder Woman Jr. is crazy and kinky, and it probably has to do with her mother's side. But it goes back to Superman, and you have Batgirl riding him like a piggyback. Crazy. Here's the Flash. His legs are getting all healed up. See, I don't like the outfit so much. If this just came all the way down and these came all the way out, I think I'd like it. The black would be pretty cool. But this is like, I can't handle this. But he's moving his hands real fast because he's trying to make it rain in Gotham. Big Batman plan. This would have been so cool to see in the movie. But actually, if they were to put this, if they were to put Dark Knight 3's story in a Batman vs. Superman or Justice League or however it's going to work with Warner Brothers, if they were to put this in there, I think it would be perfect. Batman makes it rain synthesized kryptonite. And all those Kryptonians that were above Gotham start falling out of the sky. And Batman and all the Gothamites start beating the shit out of them. And it only weakens them. The problem is Batman's already old as shit, and so he's weak. And like here, he gets punched one time in the face. Says that felt like a sledgehammer. Vision contracting, knees buckling. Then all of a sudden it says, "Don't worry, I got your back." And it's fucking Superman in like an iron suit, which is cool, but I don't like the whole head neck thing right here. I don't know why. Maybe you don't either. It just looks like a no neck thing, but it's cool. Cannot wait to see the next issue and get to see Superman and Batman kicking some ass. And I cannot believe that I think there's 3 more issues. There's either 1 more issue or 3, but I'm pretty sure there's 3. I think there's 8 total. I think it's going to be fantastic. Here's a good picture of Batgirl. And Batman, of course, but green and purple, it kind of works. Just that art style for the insert did not work for me. And maybe that's the problem I'm having with this one. Besides the, like, that's pretty weird. Doesn't look right. I don't know. Maybe it's like that Spider-Woman picture where she's like all crazy. Was that Grudge? Like, I don't know. Anyway, that was pretty much what I picked up. I might end up having sort of another comic vlog thing going on at some point, because apparently what I said about Hastings isn't true, and that could be wrong as well. I told you it is rumors. I'm hearing a bunch of rumors saying it, and it has been pretty dead there lately. It could also be they're just trying to drum up sales. But they have a bunch of back issue comics for $1. And I've just been going through them like crazy, and I'm thinking about going like maybe not once a week, but maybe once every other week, or at least once a month. Not only just going there, but like looking up like a flea market or a pawn shop or something, rummage sales, and seeing if I can't find any cheap comics to come by. Because those are always fun. The kids didn't enjoy them as much as I remember enjoying them when I was younger. If you had told me that all these comics in this giant box were like $0.25 a piece, which these are actually 50 cents a piece, but for $1. Growing up, I knew I could get my dad to give me $0.25. A lot of those flea market shops actually did tax, so it'd be like 27 cents. But I knew I could get that out of Dad. You know, sometimes we didn't have the best sales going on. Like, my dad sold a bunch of mixed stuff out of a shop. My grandmother had a shop on the other side. She sold like pre-decorated Christmas trees and dolls and bears, like crazy stuff. She made a killing. We just had a bunch of like knickknacks and odds and ends, but we did all right. But anyway, there was a guy right across the little aisle who sold comics, and if he ever had like a box of comics that were like $0.25 a piece, I'd spend all day going through it. And I'd go back through it, make sure I didn't miss anything. And you give me 2 of those, I swear to God, I'd be there all day. So I'm thinking about doing that because I had a blast. The kids, like I said, didn't really care for it. My boy, he's taken claim saying that he found the Slimer comic, but I actually found it and I showed it to him. And then he said he wanted it and I picked it up. And of course, little man's going to get what he wants. It's going to be his, but I want to read it first and I want to check it out. Might look at some of the value, but I imagine if they put them in this box at business like Hastings, if they have anybody on hand that knows what they're doing, they would look at the price of these comics. So I'm assuming $0.25 a piece, probably a hell of a deal for these things, and the fact that they're probably not even worth that. Like, Hastings is probably making more money on these things than they're worth, which is okay. Waiting to see if they throw anything else on sale. Comic wise, they got a ton of back issues, and from what I heard, they're not going to be selling any more back issues here soon. So if I could swoop in, oh man, when they first start doing it, if I could swoop in and get my grubby little hands on some of those, they got some good ones right in the back issues. The ones in the boxes are like ancient, like they're from the 80s, and like you haven't heard of them. There's some crazy stuff in there. There's what was the one I saw? Well, they have a lot of the Shadow, and it's not the Shadow I have. It's like this Shadow looks like the monsters from Mother Goose Rockin' Rhymes that sang the song Gordon down in the dungeon. Or is it the Fungin? Or that's Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know. Anyway, they have a different guy that's crazy looking, and then they have Demon from DC, Etrigan, I think that's how you pronounce it. They've got a bunch of those issues. I actually think I can manage to find like a full 4 set. There's like, they have a couple of them that say like issues 4 of 4 and 1 of 4. So if I can find, I think they have 1, 3, and 4 that I saw, but out of like the 10 boxes they have, I only looked through 3, technically 2.5, and so I'm almost certain I could find the whole set there, and that'd be kind of cool just to have and, you know, read and put away for a rainy day or something. Give it away. You know, I'm still down for giving away some of these. And then, I'm trying to think. They had some really crazy ones in there. Gosh, I really can't. Fish Police. Fish Police. There's like a turtle, but with a mermaid tail instead of turtle legs. And I was like, what's the fucking point in it being a turtle then? Why couldn't it just be a mermaid? Like, he can't pull that tail into the shell. I just think if he was a normal sea turtle, probably would have made for better. So maybe I'll pick that up, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe there's a reason why it got canceled. Or maybe it's a little hidden gem. And that's what I'm hoping to find in these boxes, like some sort of special comic that's just amazing and incredible. They don't make it no more. Not because I'm going to do anything with it myself, but you know, those are awesome. Like, no one's going to be like, hey, did you ever read this? And they're like, the hell is that? Like, you gotta get on it, man. Like, they're hard to find, but if you find it. But anyway, so there might be another series of videos I do where I just find some old fucking comics, or maybe I just, you know, post my shit and, you know, my findings elsewhere. So be sure to check me on Facebook, Twitter, some Google Plus stuff. I don't really mess with Google Plus at all because I have a Windows phone. I've been playing around with Vine. Kind of fun. Like, subscribe, be sure to comment. Tell me if you like Batman vs. Superman, but if you do, be sure to tell me why, and don't tell me because the story sucked, because that's bullshit, because I've watched a lot of Marvel movies that I didn't understand at all. And I probably don't even know what I'm talking about. I couldn't name one, I guess. Blade. I guess Blade probably don't count because it's not this universe. Ha! I'll get you. Fantastic Four. Kidding. As far as I could tell, Fantastic Four is a decent movie. I'm not a big fan of Marvel. It wasn't an awful movie. It definitely... I think a sequel could redeem it. But I think a sequel could redeem Green Lantern for the people that disagreed with Green Lantern. Because I actually like Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. I even like the costume. I mean, what was he supposed to be in? Spandex? I discussed this with Power Rangers. Not everybody can make spandex cool. Ryan Reynolds, however, did make spandex cool on Deadpool. So now you got that under your belt. Come back and make a Hal Jordan. I don't know. Anyway, be sure to update your pull list. Make sure you check out any of the new comics. Always support your local comic shop. And, as always, everybody, be safe.